The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Vikings in Dublin, the NFL's first game ever in Ireland. Welcome into the Arthur Moats experience. My name is Mark Bergin, getting you ready for Sunday, a 9:30 Eastern time kickoff. The Steelers will be arriving in Ireland today. I'm recording this on Thursday in advance of the game, and I want to make sure that you are prepared for the Steelers' first international game since 2013. And I want to start with some of the matchups. I thought it was very interesting this week during Mike Tomlin's media availability that he talked about the Vikings starting Carson Wentz filling in for JJ McCarthy. And he compared it to when the Steelers have gone up against the Indianapolis Colts, and that it sounded like he almost wanted to play a younger quarterback when the Steelers had played Anthony Richardson and they knocked him out of the game, and then Joe Flacco went into the game. Carson Wentz, a veteran with a lot of playing experience. And he's got two talented receivers in Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And they're as talented of a duo that the Steelers will play this season, really outside of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in Cincinnati. That is the level of talent that we're talking about when it comes to the Vikings offense, is stopping their passing attack, and it starts with that duo. They've got a really nice tight end as well. So defensively, the Steelers will have a challenge there. From the defensive back standpoint, if you're Pittsburgh as well, potentially the Steelers get back Deshaun Elliott and Joey Porter Jr., both dealing with injuries. I would say, though, if it's even close, they're both listed as questionable. You could wait a week because the Steelers have a bye after week 4. The Steelers will have their bye week in week 5. So if they're even closer, if it's even marginal, I would say sit them. But if you can get them back in the lineup, certainly I do think that they would help this team in stopping the Vikings passing attack. So that's what I'm looking at from the defense trying to stop the offense. But going up against Brian Flores and a Brian Flores defense, this is a really strong defense up against the run, and the Steelers have really struggled to run the football through the first few weeks of the season. And the Steelers are familiar with Brian Flores when he was a linebackers coach on the staff just a few years ago, but he is very aggressive defensively, is unafraid to dial up the blitz, and I think it's going to be a challenge for the Steelers offense on Sunday. I really believe that, and they really are strong at stopping the run. This is a Vikings defense that's coming off a week where they forced 5 turnovers. 5, and they returned 2 of them for touchdowns. So this offense cannot have, and I'm talking about the Steelers offense, they cannot perform like they did against the New England Patriots, because if they play a game like that, it could be a long day. It's a Vikings team that had double-digit wins a year ago, coming off a really strong season, and it's going to be tough. The international games the results are always a little bit wonky, but that's what I'm looking at from the Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint. They'll get to Ireland later today. I'm curious to see if jet lag has any factor. I know there's been some reports back and forth of should the team have gone sooner to acclimate to the time change. Again, recording this on Thursday morning. On Wednesday, some players who did not practice for the Steelers: Alex Highsmith, Darius Slay, Isaac Seumalo, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, and Jonnu Smith. So some of those players were for rest. The only one on that list who did not practice due to actual injury, Alex Highsmith with his ankle injury. And then I believe he's been ruled out for the game as well. And then limited participant in practice: Joey Porter Jr. with the hamstring, Deshaun Elliott with the knee, Patrick Queen with an oblique injury, and then Jaylen Warren also was a limited participant due to rest purposes. So I'd like to see Pittsburgh get the running game going, and that regression that we saw in week 3 from the offense, got to get back on track. Steelers defense coming off a week where you force several turnovers. You win that turnover battle 5-1 against the Patriots. Could you keep that going? And is it going to be the defense that we saw in week 3, or is it going to be the defense that we saw in the first 2 weeks of the season when the Steelers allowed 30-plus points in both week 1 and week 2? So that's the stage that is set for Dublin. It's going to be really, really exciting. The homage to the Rooney family. Dan Rooney is an ambassador to that country as well. Really excited to see that. for this game played in Ireland. Enjoy the game. If you're watching this video and you're going to the game, let us know in the Inter chat. Would love to hear from you about your experiences going to this game. It's going to be really, really exciting. It's going to be a nice way to wake up on Sunday morning. Before I go, my score prediction, I've got the Vikings winning this one. I've got Vikings 24, Steelers 17 when these two teams play in week 4, and that would take the Steelers to a 2-2 record heading into the bye week. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. This has been another edition of the Arthur Moats Experience. I'll be back next week with Arthur recapping this game, so keep it locked here on this channel. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Enjoy the game, everybody. I'll see you next week. Until then, take care, and so long, everybody.